So we discussed earlier the extensions like .twb and twbx, which is Tableau workbook versus Tableau package workbook. And we do have the differentiation like Tableau data source and Tableau data extract. Remember, like Tableau data extract is one of the important topic in when it comes to like connection point of view. And Tableau data extract helps a lot for better performance because when it comes to like live, right, from Tableau, and when you execute or when you open any Tableau dashboard or any report, so if it is live, it has to go back to the database and we have to fetch the data from database, right? And if there are any scenario, like if there are any situations where we have some complex calculations has to be done, and like huge number of records, for sure, yes, it will take time. But if you have any complex joins and some calculations, so in that case it will for sure it will degrade the performance. So that's the reason why we have a concept called as Tableau data extract. Extract connection is static. So if someone asks like what is .td, Tableau data extract is kind of a data. We are going to store some part of data in .td files, but you can tell that so .td files are static. So we have to refresh the data to get whatever the updated data in the database level. So like if you want to refresh, yes, we have a manual refresh, and we can also automate that. We can schedule from Tableau server point of view. I'll showcase that. Interestingly, we discussed about hyper connection. So hyper is like whenever you're going to like hyper is inbuilt actually. So it's inbuilt from 10.5 version. So they introduced hyper connection from 10.5, where if while loading the data into Tableau, when you use extract, that will be very fast when you compare with previous versions. Okay, so that's what we have gone through, like live and extract connection. But when you use extract, even extract, I'm connecting to Superstore copy. We just duplicated that. So whenever you're going to create an extract, we have a couple of options. In extract, we have a couple of options to go for full refresh and incremental refresh. So most of the case we do go for full refresh. That's not an issue in general in real time. But certain cases where we have to go for incremental refresh, but I never seen any of the requirement to go for incremental refresh. I'll tell you like what is actually incremental refresh. Okay. So full refresh versus incremental refresh. Basically you have some data. Let's say you have a database. So we have a database here, and there are some employee related information. So we do have employees, let's say like 100K employees, or let's say 1 million here, something like 100K. And or let's take an example like 500 employees or 5,000 employees, sorry, 5,000 employees. And you created an extract. Okay, so we have a .td file, and I loaded all the employees, that is 5,000 employees. Okay, in the database we have 5,000. In the Tableau data extract file as well, we do have 5,000 employees. We are good with that. To load this 5,000 employees, let's say it is taking like 10 minutes. It won't take 10 minutes, but 10 minutes time to load the data into .td file, to load 5,000 records. And there are new employees joined in an organization. Let's say 5 new employees joined in an organization. So overall employees is 5,005, correct? There are new employees, only 5 employees joined in the organization. And in overall that specific company organization, we do have Total number of employees count is 5005. And it's almost like it will take almost like 10 minutes or 10 minutes, few seconds to load 5005 records. Correct? But let's say, why should I, now you have full refresh. Whenever you're going for full refresh, when you go for full refresh, it will reload again all the records, that is 5000 plus 5 records. Correct? Whenever you mean to say full refresh, you're loading complete data again into .td file. Okay, into .td file, you're loading all the 5000 plus extra 5 records, 5005 records into .td file. How much time it is going to take? Again, like 10 plus minutes, right? 10 minutes plus. You agreed, right? But if we have a concept called as incremental refresh, so what I mean to say is like, hey, I already have 5000 records. I just need to load only those newly joined employees, those new employees details. Only incremental refresh, new records, that is only 5. So how much time to load 5 records? Maybe max 1 minute, less than 1 minute, right? I know we
Sorry,
can.
Ramesh. Sorry, Ramesh.
Yes.
How will you know the data you're loading is up to 5,000 or more?
Uh, how will you know the data is 5000 or more, you mean to say, right?
Yeah.
No. We have to set up, like, let me showcase that. Let me showcase practically. But what I
Okay.
mean to say is, it's not 5000. In an organization, right? In an organization, any organization, there are employees who will, they will, like, who will join in the organization. That means they'll comes under a new employees, right? New joiners. And there are employees who may quit the job and they will join in another organization. So we may have, so what I mean to say is, in incremental refresh we have a concept called as insert, update, delete. Insert is like, insertion is nothing but we are going to insert new employees, this 5 new employees. Correct? You understand the data? There are already 5000 employees, let's say till yesterday, right? Till yesterday 5000 employees, but today in the morning, right, there are 5 new joiners. Is that clear? Right? Today there are 5 new employees joined in the organization. So I need to load those 5 employees to Tableau, because I already created a Tableau data extract file which is 5000 employees. I already loaded 5000 employees, but I don't have those 5 new records. So I can prefer full refresh to load again all the complete information, 5000 plus 5, 5005 records again, or we can prefer incremental refresh. So no need to load 5000 records because we already loaded 5000 records. I just need only those 5 records. You understand, right?
Okay.
Let's say it's simple. Like, let's say I have a bucket full of water, have this much of water, and I can see there is an empty here. So I can see, so now I use some water and I do feel this, there is an empty of bucket. So here, so this is a complete bucket, but here is, this is what the yellow color is filled with the water, have some space. Or let's consider this is what the organization, and there are, I already have some water in my tank. So this is a huge tank, right? It's a huge tank, but so I have some full set of water, or maybe I have some canal or river I used to get water. So what I mean to say is we loaded some part of data into Tableau, but let's say there are, or don't go for, let's say this is what the complete set of water. This is the database. Okay. This is the database and I have multiple levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels of water. And I do have 4 levels of water, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Okay, this is the database and this is .td file. So what I mean to say is whether you are going to load the 5th level here or whether you are going to like pour the water again and I am going to load complete water again. So I already have 4 levels of water. I can just load 1 level of water here, right? To get filled. You understand, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But what is full refresh in the sense? Again, I'm going to load, I'm going to drop this. That means again, I'm going to drop all the water and I'm going to reload all the 5 set of water here. You understand, right? That is what full refresh. So I'm going to reload complete data again into .td file. Initially, I have four levels. I can add only the 5th record here because the 5th record is not available in .td. I can just add 5th record to .td file, which will take 1 minute. But if I want to add all the 5 levels again, it might take 5 minutes. Why should I wait? Why should I waste extra 4 minutes to reload the same four records? I just load only one record to save 4 minutes of time, correct? Let's say if you have 1 million records, 1 million records, right? And you have only one extra record, one new record, one new record. 1 million record is available in, like in the database, I do have 1,000,001 record, but in .td file, I do have only 1 million record. So I want to load the extra new record. So if I can go for full refresh, let's say it is taking 1 hour time to load 1 million records. It won't take 1 hour, but example, okay, if it is taking 1 hour time to load 1 million records, so I can also go for full refresh so that it will take 1 hour, few seconds for one record. It won't take much difference. Again, I need to spend 1 hour to reload complete 1 million records, 1,000,001 record. Instead of doing that, I already have 1 million records. I just want to load only one record. It may take less than 1 minute, right? Let's say 30 seconds for processing. To load one record, we are saving almost like 59 minutes plus. I don't want to reload the data again. That's what the point here. That is what incremental refresh. Incremental refresh is nothing but we just want to load. If you want to load only newly loaded records, we can prefer insert logic. Very, very important insert statement. But how we are going to insert newly loaded records, I'm going to showcase practically here. So I selected extract, click on sheet 1. So let me use incremental refresh versus full refresh or incremental refresh naming convention. Okay, so I'm going to set this as incremental refresh first. I created an extract. So basically now you can see you have an extract, you have refresh, correct? You understand, right? I have extract and refresh. Go back to history. You can clearly see this particular information. Incremental refresh I'm not set up actually. So you can see full refresh. When I use full refresh, how many records we loaded? 9,994 records. Clear? If you have any question, please ask me. So full refresh, we just loaded 9,994. So that is full refresh. We didn't go on for incremental refresh till yet. 994 records. So now this is the database we connected. This is the Superstore data. So now whenever I'm going to set incremental refresh, let me set incremental refresh. Go back to data source. I didn't update any database, right? I didn't added any newly loaded records for this, but I'm just setting up incremental refresh. So edit, you can see you have an option called as incremental refresh. Select this checkbox. What is the table to refresh? I'm using orders table. Identify new rows using this column. Basically, we don't use incremental refresh most of the cases because the data might be different in certain tables, and there are a lot of criterias actually. That's the reason we don't generally prefer incremental refresh. Yes, it's an advantage, but conceptual wise, I'll give you more details. Let's see here. We are getting only very few columns, right? We have ship date, order date, postal code, and importantly, we have row ID. I'm going to use row ID to identify new rows. Okay. So I'm setting up to identify newly loaded records. I'm using row ID. Click OK. You can ask why should you prefer row ID? Correct. I'm preferring row ID because row ID does not have duplicates. How many records we do have? 9,994, correct? You can see 9,994. We loaded, I just set up incremental refresh just now. Now go back, right click, extract. Now I can see a couple of options, refresh incremental and refresh full. Clear?
Yeah.
Now you're getting both the options, right? Refresh incremental and you have full refresh. So I just set up incremental refresh option, right click, edit data source, edit here. I set up incremental refresh here, setup, like just select this checkbox, and I'm using like row ID to go for incremental refresh. 1 minute, please. So incremental refresh, basically, we just used incremental refresh, right? And let's go back to history. Okay. Interestingly, as I said, you can go back to this particular option, extract refresh incremental, and you have another option called as extract full, like full refresh, correct? Now I have both options. You can go for incremental refresh and you can also go for full refresh. But let's go back to history here. Okay. So I can just click on history. Remember we done incremental refresh, full refresh before. And when I set up incremental refresh at 8.4, how many records were loaded? Because we didn't updated any data, right, in the Excel. And I can see we are not loaded any data in incremental refresh. So we don't have any newly loaded records in the database level as well. That's the reason when you used incremental refresh, we didn't have any records, 0 records. But what actually, why I prefer row ID in the sense to insert newly loaded records, right? Insert newly loaded records. We used to prefer, very important, we used to prefer primary key. We do prefer primary key because, as you know, primary key does not allow duplicates and null values, correct? You understand, right? To insert newly loaded records, we do prefer primary key. That's the reason I used row ID to set up incremental refresh. Row ID. Let me load some part of data in Excel and let's do incremental refresh. So I'm inserting new record here, 9995, and some part of data. Load some part of data here. I'm going to load new region ABC. Okay, it's a new region and some sales information. So let's say 2000. Save. Okay, how many records I loaded here? 9995. Only one record. I just inserted one record. I saved this. Okay, I saved this file. Go back to Tableau. So let me use region. So how many regions we do have? 4 regions. And let's go back to count, orders count. And let me drag and drop orders count into label. You can see we have 9994. Total number of records is 9994. Now right click on this. You can go for extract, refresh incremental, or you can go for full refresh. Now whenever you are going to set up incremental refresh, we have to get only one record. We are going to load only one record because we have only one new record available in the database, correct? Please let me know if you have any questions. Go to history. Just check on the history. If you need the snapshot of the data, right? If you need some proofs, right? So incremental refresh, initially we don't have anything, right? Let's say if you need some set of information, we can capture by using snipping tool. So we already set up incremental refresh, and let me go back to Excel and I'm going to paste here. So initially this is what the incremental refresh is set up. Now we loaded new record with row ID 9995, correct? We inserted one new record. Now perform incremental refresh. Perform incremental refresh. Now you have the snapshot, right? Now perform incremental refresh and check the history. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay. You can see I'm doing refresh incremental. Refresh incremental. Let's see. You can see initially the count was 9994. Now the count is 9995. One record is loaded. Let's check the region data as well. We can see one new record is loaded, that is ABC. And now we need to check how many records have been loaded, right? That's the advantage of history. So you can go back to extract, go to history, check whether you loaded all the 9995 records or only one newly loaded record, that is incremental refresh. It's very clear, right? So you loaded only one new record. We have all the 9995 records, overall 9995, but we didn't loaded all the records. We just loaded only one newly loaded records. That is what incremental refresh. I hope you understand this. Practical, I will showcase some of the failures as well, like multiple scenarios, I mean to say. You understand, right? Initially it was 0, but we added one record, one new record. When you perform incremental refresh, it was added up, correct? That is what primary key, that's what the advantage of primary key. If you have duplicates, it won't allow. Let's try with duplicates. If you have duplicated data, I'm going to insert 9995, and maybe the order id and all other information is different, but let's say this is 20, and this is United States, and this is region north. All of the records are different, right? So what I mean to say is, let's say this is 4000, some 40, some 200. Now I do have another record, right? So overall it is 9996, correct? You agreed, right? We have one more record added, but the only thing is, this is the duplicated record 9995, but I have north region. I want to load north region. Unfortunately, we have 9995, the row ID is same, but I want to go for north region into Tableau. I want to load north region into Tableau. So now right click, we actually saved this data. Okay, let me save. You can see I saved this data. Now go back to Tableau, right click, extract, go to history. Let's check history before incremental refresh. So you can remember, right? So we just done incremental refresh, one newly loaded record at 812. Now we just added one more record after 812. Now right click, extract, refresh incremental. So tell me that whether we are going to get the new region into this particular sheet or not. So I'm going to do incremental refresh. My question is whether we are going to get the newly loaded record, which is region is northwise sales, whether we are going to get that extra record or not. That's the question. This is the last scenario. So we'll start Tableau. You understand, right? My question is, we already loaded a new region called as north in our database. So I'm going to do incremental refresh. I'm going to do incremental refresh. And my question is whether we are going to get the north region or not in our
No,
into.
it's not going to load because it's a duplicated data.
Sorry, it seems.
It will not load because you have that ID number duplicated.
ID number duplicated. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Right click on this. Let's test, right? We have history, right? We can check history. Refresh incremental. Let's go for refresh incremental. Let's wait for a few seconds. It seems no change. Right click, extract, go to history, and whether we need to check, right, whether incremental refresh is performed or not. Yes, incremental refresh is performed at 817 now, just now, but no new records added. It doesn't load it because, as I said, right, incremental refresh, basically we set up incremental refresh using row ID, and it used to identify new rows using row ID. We already added 9995, right? We already added 9995 into our .tdu file, and while loading this particular record, it will check whether we do have new records or not. It will compare, right? The Tableau itself, it will compare with existing record count, the row number actually, not record count. It will check each and every record, and it will come here and it will check for 9995 whether we have 9995 related rows or not. Yes, again it searched for newly loaded records, not 9995. It's already recorded, right? We already have 9995 recorded or available in Tableau .tdu file. and it is not going to load again the same duplicated data. That's what the issue we have seen. Now you got the advantage of insertion, right? So that's what the advantage of insert. It won't allow it won't allow duplicates, or even it won't allow null values. Very, very important. That's the reason we do prefer primary key. Insertion is purely based on primary key. And update and delete, as I said, this is purely based on some criteria, incremental refresh. So, but most of the cases, yes, you can also update some data, updated records if you want to update some set of data using date columns, or even delete as well. But in real time, it will be a different criteria. If you want to go for incremental refresh, the backend database team has to create one column, kind of a flag values, whether it is loaded or not, something like that. So that's different case actually, because we may have multiple tables, and we need to check upon those related information. But
I have
practical,
a question, Ramesh.
yes.
I remember when we started this course, you mentioned to us that um, data source and loading data is usually done by the ETL team,
Okay.
and it's not the Tableau. The job of the Tableau developer is to work on already loaded data. So I'm wondering if this data you mentioned in incremental and full refresh is what should be loaded by Tableau developer.
That's a very good question. Basically, what the functionality of this .tda file is, we have a live connection. As I said, we don't worry about database point of view. We don't worry. Whatever the data available, as I said right initially, let's say you have some part of transactional data in the database. When you prefer live connection, right? When you prefer live connection, whatever the data available in the database, you're going to get that data into Tableau. That's what we have seen. And we also gone through like ETL and the data warehouse. That data loading is different. That's the actual data loading into data warehouse. Okay, that concept is different. But we already have data in the data warehouse. Okay, when you use live connection, let's say we have 100 records in the data warehouse, we are going to get 100 records into Tableau, which is live. But when you create an extract on top of this in Tableau, when you create an extract and you loaded 100 records today, but tomorrow there are 10 new records added. You got the point, right? 10 new records added. It won't directly refresh. We don't get updated
Okay.
data,
Yeah.
because we are using a Tableau functionality that, hey, this is what the functionality, because for better performance, we are already loading we are dumping some part of data into .tde, and there is a disconnectivity between database and .tde. You have data in the database and you have data in .tde file, and it's not a direct connectivity between database and .td file. You have to refresh the data. But in general, in real time, yes, we can schedule, like how we are going to schedule an alarm, right? So if you want to, when we want to wake up, we are going to set up an alarm, or meeting schedules, something alerts, right? Similarly, in Tableau, we can set up this refresh, extract refresh. We can schedule that refresh. So automatically, based on the timeline, that data is going to refresh. We don't worry about that. Okay. So that is what 99% of the cases we are going to work with full refresh. Because of incremental refresh, we may lose some part of data if the logic is not perfect. Now we have an extra record. I know that we have an extra record north, and the users are expecting, hey, I want to get north region, but I'm unable to load north region when you do incremental refresh. Even when you do incremental refresh, go to extract history. I'm unable to load the other record here, because you can see It's not loading the north region because of the duplicated record. So we have row ID as duplicated 9995. So in that case, what we have to do is you can go for full refresh. So now you can see the statement, performing a full refresh can take a longer time. Are you sure you want to proceed? So that's what the pop-up generally we used to get. Now you understand, right? Full refresh, if you have lakhs of records, if you perform full refresh, again it will reload the data again. So remember that initially we performed incremental refresh. We have this statement, right? We have all these stats, the timelines, right? And now let's go back to incremental this history, because whenever you're going to perform full refresh, it will clear all the history. Now let me capture this screenshot so that you'll understand. Now I'm going to capture this history. Control C. Let me copy here. So I don't have any other newly loaded record here. 2 times we performed incremental refresh. Now I'm going for full refresh. Now let's see, we don't have north region. Now let's right click, extract. I'm going for full refresh. Okay, let's go for full refresh. Yes, proceed. You can see ABC, and you can also see the extra region north. Yes, it took very less time. I know that the performance is very fast because we have very less number of records. We have only like 1000 plus records, or close to 9995. So, but sorry, not 1000 plus, like 10, close to 10,000. So basically in real time, if you have huge number of records, it will take some time. Now right click, go to extract, go to history. As I said, when you perform full refresh, it will clear up all the incremental refresh previous instances records, and you can see we done full refresh 825 35 seconds, and how many records we loaded. So we got 9996, but initially we got only like 9995, and we tried doing incremental refresh. It is not loaded the newly loaded records. So we got only like 9994, and additionally one record. Overall is 9995. Now we got 9996. So we are able to get that duplicated record, right? The north region. We're able to get the north region data. This is full refresh. Clear? So incremental refresh and full refresh, basically 99%, as I said, you will go for full refresh. We don't worry about incremental refresh, but I just want to give you more clarity how incremental refresh works and the advantage of primary key, right? So whenever you're going to use a primary key, when you try to insert a duplicated data, we practically seen, right? When you try to insert a duplicated record, it's not loading that north region related information. We tried incremental refresh couple of times, but it is not even picking up this record because it checks whether exists or not, that record is existing record or not. If 9995 is already existing record, it won't load. If you have n number of duplicated records, it won't load. That is the reason why the primary concept is important. Primary key concept is very important. Primary key does not allow duplicates and null values. That's the reason they do prefer few of the, not only for incremental refresh insert. There are certain cases we do use primary key. That's what in relationships, right? In star schema and snowflake schema, like, or whatever the relational data model. To establish relationships, we do prefer primary and foreign key relationship, because primary key does not allow duplicates and also null values. So this is what the additional advantage of incremental refresh. Incremental refresh, basically, as I said, it's not regular process, but you might get some like points on incremental refresh, right? So incremental refresh, basically we are not going to load complete information again. We're just adding a newly loaded record. We are not wasting much time actually. If you have huge records, let's say billions of records, if you don't want to reload those number of records, you can try to load only few set of records. You can perform incremental refresh. That's the advantage. Clear? Any
Yes.
question? Yeah, incremental refresh or full refresh. Remember, you can go for .td. That's the extract connection. Full ref, you can disconnect from the computer audio and you can use mobile audio. So because if you are using both, it's echoing. So yeah. So any questions? This is what remember, like performance wise. Even we also seen in few of the requirements for John as well. Like we use live and both extract as well. So and there are certain cases where we use blending as well. So we'll explain that real time scenarios. So what I mean to say is, like for performance wise, for sure, .td is one of the best option. So most of the cases, as I said, right, 70% or more than 70% to improve the performance. Okay, so it's not mandatory, as I said. Only when you face performance issues, you can go for .td connection, that is extract connection. And we have very few extensions, that is TVM, TMS, and TPS. It won't take much time, but I don't want to explain today. It's actually simple. So because this concept what we discussed today is very important. So I'll give you access to all this. I already given access, so I'll give this access mostly today. And yeah, please let me know if you have any questions. From day after tomorrow, we are going to start with Tableau. So basics of Tableau, each and every point. We'll go through the functionality and the UI and whatever, how we are going to load, right? What actually rows, columns, pages, filters, marks, card, what we called as the blue color highlight, and this is green color, what is called as dimensions and measures. Each and everything I'm going to explain on Friday.
Hello, Ramesh, can you hear me?